Hey Pointers, and welcome to this semester's final episode of the Sports Hub. As always, I'm your host, Will Haroldson, and alongside me as always are my partners Ashton and Brody Kupsky. We have a lot to cover, so we'll jump right into it, but first, we'll take a little intro. The WIAC baseball season has come to an end, and once again, the UW Whitewater Warhawks are kings of the regular season. But right behind them are your UWSP Pointers. The Pointers finished the season second place in the WIAC, just 2.5 games behind Whitewater, and the Pointers really had a fantastic regular season and looked to make their momentum into the WIAC tournament and the NCAA tournament, guys. So what was your overview of the regular season so far? What can we expect on this upcoming postseason runs here?
You know, the Pointers just had a really solid season all around. You know, they had a fantastic hitting as always. That was one of the main talking points of the season was their amazing offense. And, you know, really going into the middle to the end of the season, they really started to clean up on defense and pitching as well. And it just ended with overall that just went to a really good season.
I definitely agree with that. Their hitting was phenomenal this season. A lot of guys over 300 average, which for now is pretty good. And along with that, the pitching really came back and came in their own and shut down opponents.
That it did, and you know, one of the more important things is they've been able to put up a lot of runs, but their pitching has gotten a little stronger as well. Obviously, they won 3 out of 4 of the games against Oshkosh this past weekend, and so Whitewater outright takes control of they won the regular season, which they seem to do almost every year. Since like 2011, they've won like 9 out of the past 10 WIAC tournaments, and then obviously COVID happened. But we talk about how, you know, we see in a lot of sports these guys are kings of the regular season, and then they get to the playoffs and not so much. So is there anything like the Pointers have to be concerned about maybe? We did so well in the regular season, but now we're in the postseason and things are completely different, or is it the other way around? Now it's postseason time. It's our time to shine.
I think this is a case of it's postseason time. It's time for them to shine. They don't really need to do much different. They did really well this season, and I have a feeling that if they just continue doing what they're doing, and if they do it consistently, then they'll perform really well this postseason.
I definitely agree with that, but also don't think of your opponents in the playoffs as pushovers. I mean, you're going right up against Oshkosh in the tournament right away, potentially. Stevens Point is the 2 seed in the tournament going against the 3 seed. So it's not like they're a tough opponent. I mean, you did lose a game this past weekend to them. So don't think of it as a pushover. Just keep doing what you're doing, and they should have a good shot at winning the WIAC championship.
Yeah, they did nab one game against Whitewater earlier in the year up in Whitewater, and they could have had both of those games, but unfortunately for them, when Whitewater came to town, they really took it to the Pointers, and they really hit them on the chin 4-1 and 9-1. So maybe it'll be a case of revenge if they can get to that championship game and try to take out Whitewater that way.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's been really, I don't want to say it was an up and down, but really the month of April they were on a tear. And I don't want to say they cooled down a bit, but maybe they dropped back down to reality with how insanely well they were hitting and how insanely well they were pitching, but they got a few games that they kind of grabbed them a little bit here as of recently.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's just the thing with every team is that once you start going on a hot streak, eventually it'll cool off, and it'd be incredible if they just kept going with the hitting they had in April throughout all of the season. But I like what you said. It's not that they cooled down; it's that they went back to reality, which is, I think, a much better kind of explanation of their season as a whole. As they still ended very well. 31-8 or 31-7 is not a record to scoff at. It's very good. It's just that Whitewater is Whitewater, and they're always good when it comes to sports.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that. We're not always going to be perfect. I mean, that's just a fact of life. So for the Pointers baseball team, I definitely would be happy with the season that they have. And definitely just look forward to the playoffs, just keep playing well. Remember, we're not always perfect. we'll have those ups and downs during the season.
It's one of those cases where you just got to play the game the way you play it, and the chips will fall wherever they do. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will talk Brewers baseball, so don't go away because we'll be right back.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
For only the second time this season, the Brewers have lost a series. After capturing Game 1 against the Atlanta Braves on Friday, May 6th, the Brewers went cold from the plate. The Braves' starting pitchers dominated the Brewers' hit batters, and now the Brewers need to gather themselves to take on the struggling Cincinnati Reds, who, by the way, won their first series of the season. So, fellas, what went wrong in the series loss to the Braves, and is that something that will concern you in the long run?
I don't think it's concerning. I mean, you'll have those types of games where you get absolutely destroyed. It's only one series. It's only May. We're not, if this was September and we're, looking for a wild card spot, which I doubt it, it would be very detrimental to lose these series. But right now we're in May. I mean, guys like Christian Yelich are doing great. Christian Yelich has a .339 OBP, which is pretty solid. He leads the team in hits with 25. He's definitely been improving. And guys like Rowdy Tellez, I mean, he just won Player of the Week this past week. He's been on a tear, and he's been insane. So for the Brewers to lose a series like this, it's not very bad, but, it's not great.
Right. It's definitely not great for your confidence boost to get blown out 9-3 on 9-2 on Mother's Day. But to the point of Rowdy Tellez, won Player of the Week, through 6 games had 15 RBIs. That's pretty good.
That I don't know if you should just say pretty good. That is incredible. The amount, and it is. I think it's just important to mention that Rowdy is showing a lot of shades of an old Brewers legend that they have, Prince Fielder, and bit of a bigger guy, first baseman, but he can absolutely mash the ball. It's insane. If Rowdy Tellez is hot, that man can really hit the ball. And I think I want to go back to the point of, should I be concerned about if this series kind of spells doom for the Brewers in terms of, just in the future a little bit. And I agree that, it is May and it is a little early. However, when I saw the Brewers yesterday on Mother's Day, I did get a little concerned about their hitting because, and I think it is important to mention, when earlier this week they did play the Reds, and obviously the Reds are the worst team in baseball right now. So I don't know if this is going to be a case of the Brewers can only beat bad teams, or if this was just a one-off thing. I think it's just going to be personally a one-off thing, but there's still that thought of, but what if?
Yeah, there's always that lingering feeling in the back of your mind of, maybe this is, there were the San Diego Padres of a year ago that started off hot and fell apart. Yeah. But they go back to the struggling Reds, or should I say the hot Reds, as they won their first series of the season. All things considered, the Reds will finally have Luis Castillo out on the mound. He's an ace. And Brandon Woodruff will pitch for the Brewers. That's later tonight. But I don't want to laugh at the Reds so much, but 5-23, has a team ever done anything to get back in contention after a start that bad?
After a start like that, no.
The only team I can think of is the Cleveland Indians in Major League. That's about it.
Major League,
one of the best movies of all time. I mean, that's the only team I can think of that actually struggled starting out and then, came back to win the division.
I guess if we're talking about that, maybe Moneyball, Oakland A's. They were struggling going into the final month and a half, and then
we could talk about
we can talk about
more reality than the fiction of movies of Major League.
Listen, we're not trying to dump on the Reds that much, but it's like.
But still, they've been a thorn in the Brewers' side the past couple of years. So like seeing the Brewers just annihilate them in these games is satisfying, but also at the same time you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, you kind of feel bad almost.
is it too good, or is there going to be a point where the Reds are just like, all right, we know our season's over, but we're going to ruin yours?
Yeah, that's what the Brewers have done to the Cubs in the past. Is no matter what, no matter how bad the Brewers are or how good the Cubs are, the Brewers always find a way to beat the Cubs, and I feel like that's kind of a way with Cincy and Milwaukee. So I wonder if we're going to see that this week. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to absolutely annihilate the Reds, but it could happen.
It's been a decent rivalry over the past 2 years, and it's really kind of, I don't want to say tragic, but it's sad to see that Cincinnati has gone from a playoff contender last year to just falling apart.
They lost so many
exactly.
pieces. It's insane.
I mean, you lose guys like Nick Castellanos, you trade away Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez. You're losing a lot of guys that just, guys just don't really want to play almost. I mean, Joey Votto, I hate to say it, I feel bad for him. I mean, all these years seeing him, destroy the Brewers, and then watching him, sit on a team where, you only can scrape 5 wins. I mean,
it's not great to say the least. We're going to take one final break, and when we come back, we'll talk the Bucks versus Celtics keys to the game in Games 4 tonight. So don't go away. We will be right back.
The Media Studies is a program for people who love to tell stories, whether that be in written form, visual, or audio.
Media Studies is exciting because it's always fresh, it's always new.
Media is at the center of everything we do. More and more people are asked to engage with media and use media. Our program really provides students with skills and techniques to be better prepared for that in the future.
We offer courses in media production, both video and audio, nonfiction and fiction, music production, journalism, film studies.
Media Studies is a great way to get hands-on experience in the field that you're looking to do. They teach you the basic concept behind everything, and then they tell you to go do it.
We really pride ourselves on thinking of a wide set of opportunities that we can give our students.
The student organizations are a great asset. We have SPTV, the student television organization, 90 FM, the radio, and The Pointer, our student-run newspaper.
It's a great way for students to get involved, learn skills that they need for class, and meet new people.
Some great facilities where our students can hone their skills.
There's a giant studio in the center of the comm building. I've had quite a few classes in there.
A lot of our classes are very hands-on, they're very interpersonal.
You're getting the skills that will allow you to create your future, and I think that's what makes it a truly amazing experience for students.
There's an incredible range of options for graduates. We've had students go out and become independent contractors, work for radio stations, newspapers, with TV stations.
Everyone is different and they have their own unique style. In all the classes and all the student organizations you get involved in, you have a lot of flexibility to really create your own work and do it in a way that means something to you.
We're excited to see what students are making and what they want to make, and how we can help students get from where they are to where they want to be.
I'm in a video production class that's teaching me how to film documentaries. I'm also in a screenwriting class, and I get to learn how to write movies. So I'm doing all these different cool things, and I love it every day.
After narrowly escaping Game 3 with a win on Saturday, the Bucks now look to take a stranglehold of this Eastern Conference semifinal round series with a win tonight. For the Bucks, the formula is simple. Feed the actual MVP Giannis the ball and reap the benefits. Giannis scored 42 points on the Celtics to carry the Bucks to win 106-101 in Game 3. But will that be enough in Game 4, guys? Let's hear what you think. And a little subtle shot at Giannis not winning the MVP, Jokic winning it today. But nonetheless, let's get back to what's your point. Do you think Giannis will be enough for Game 4?
I mean, definitely. I mean, the way he's playing right now, he's averaging 29.6 points a game. So, it's Giannis. He'll definitely be enough. But to go back to your point, Jokic, I mean, he was a beast this whole season.
Yeah, no question.
Kind of underrated, but I believe, Giannis bringing his team, to the playoffs with guys that are hurt like Chris Middleton. I mean, you bring in a team of him, Drew Holiday, which is, he's an underrated player. Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, Grayson Allen, oh God. So definitely.
But to the point of obviously Jokic had a good season, but the man didn't get out of the first round of the NBA playoffs.
Well, here's the thing with that, in my opinion. I agree that playoff success does matter. It matters a lot. However, it's called regular season MVP for a reason, I feel like. You look at that Nuggets team and you look at Jokic is like really one of the only people on that team that's like a big name superstar. People will know who he is. So I feel like when it comes to regular season, yeah, that's fine. I agree with Jokic. I wish it was Giannis, but I agree with Jokic. And I think it's going to bring a little bit of an edge to Giannis because he's like, hey, now I got a little something to prove now. I didn't get MVP again. That's fine. That's fine. Now he's going to bring a little edge to show people that, oh, yeah, I'm the true MVP here. And also, I appreciate a little bit of that slander right there on people like Grayson Allen and Bobby Portis who have been really key, honestly. It's been... you have Giannis dropping 42. You have Drew Holiday drop at, like 27 yet on Game 3. Really, really great performances. But it's those role players that really do help a lot. And, I got to talk about, going back to Bulls, Grayson Allen, going absolutely mental in those games. And then you have, Game 3, Pat Connaughton made, I think it was like half of the Bucks threes that they made, which was not a lot, sadly. So I think that they do have I think they have the Celtics number personally. You saw in Game 3 that what the Celtics are trying to do against the Bucks is take fouls. That's what they're trying to do. When Giannis is going in, they try to get an offensive foul on Giannis. And you try and get him out of the game early, and then that's when they'll start opening up the barrage of offense there. Because now we don't have Giannis to deal with. But I think that Giannis is starting to figure out how to beat it. And once they do, Boston's toast. I don't think that Boston can win if Giannis figures it out. And I think he did.
Yeah, that's a good point. You see a lot because not many people can stop Giannis once he gets downhill towards the bucket. But at the same time, if you can put yourself in front of him and draw a charge and effectively take him out of the game, the Bucks offense is so centered around Giannis, it's going to be pretty hard to continue going with success. And so from a standpoint of a Celtics fan, you got to think, well, it's a plan that could work. It's just, will it?
Exactly. You got guys like Marcus Smart. He's always willing to take a charge. Along with that, it might come down to the Bucks defense too against the potent offense of the Celtics. Wesley Matthews, I saw a stat the other day. He shut down Jason Tatum 0 for 12 when Matthews was covering Tatum. So that could be part of it. The Bucks need to play very good defense, and the offense, will come with that. So I guess in a sense, the Bucks just need to play really good defense and just shut down, Al Horford. He for the last few minutes I saw when I was watching, he went off. So shutting down guys like that, the role players that might do something, will definitely help the Bucks
and getting rebounds as well. The Celtics in their Game 2 win were just murdering the Bucks on the offensive boards and rebounds in general. So it'll be interesting. But let's go back to the MVP situation because Jokic won, and yes, he had a good season. But I think the fact that Joel Embiid, obviously Giannis could have won, but Joel Embiid has had as much of a case of getting MVP as anybody did.
Yeah, I think Embiid got screwed more than Giannis, honestly, because again, look at the teams they had. Embiid did not have much to work with, and he literally dragged his team. He does have some stars on the team. He's got some really good players on the team, but the presence that Embiid has on the floor is insane and really MVP caliber. So I feel like Embiid has a bit more of a reason to be a little upset that he didn't win this time than Giannis. But still, like I said, though, Jokic had a phenomenal season.
Well, yeah, and Embiid had to deal with the whole situation with Ben Simmons.
Well,
he had to carry that along with him.
Yup.
And along with that, Embiid averaged just over 30 a game this regular season. He averaged 11.7 rebounds in the season, 4.2 assists. And it definitely sucks for him that he didn't, win the MVP. But part of that might be just the media going against him. I mean, it seems like everybody's against him. Not that I'm a big Embiid fan. I'm not the biggest Embiid fan ever. But it might just be part of the media just saying, I don't really like this guy for his attitude. But for how Embiid handled the Ben Simmons situation and, getting all these guys like James Harden on his team and, leading his team to the playoffs, considering they were, a couple years ago, they almost were, bottom of the barrel, just scraping by. You got to give them a lot of credit.
You got to give them a lot of credit, especially they're going against the 1 seed Miami Heat, and it was 2-0, and now it's 2-2, going back to Miami. So Philadelphia, I would have to agree. I think that Joel Embiid got snubbed big time. Not to take anything away from Jokic, but he really did. It's just, that's how it is. And this NBA playoff so far has been so entertaining because what we kind of imagined to happen really happened. We saw, everybody really thought that the Bulls were not going to put much of a challenge against the Bucks, and they didn't. We knew that the favorites were going to come out. But there's been a few surprises as well. Phoenix has looked vulnerable at times, and the Golden State has looked unbeatable. So it's like this has been such a really entertaining playoffs, and it should lead up to a very, very entertaining finals. That's for sure. Well, that'll do it for this semester's final episode of the Sports Hub. It has been a total blast talking sports with all you guys all year long. We will be back this fall after summer break, so we want to thank you all for watching, and good luck on finals, pointers.